Welcome to episode 121 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name's Trent. This is Jason. We've got some things to talk about, and we're going to get this interview in here from AlterBlood. All three guys.
Yes.
Looking forward to this. They came over here a couple weeks ago, talked about what they got going on, future coming up with them, all that stuff.
They came over to the Thunder Underground compound.
Is that what it is now? Compound?
That's what it is.
Hey, Machine in the Mountain has the dojo. We have the compound.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy shit that goes on here.
Oh, well, you don't need to talk about that, right?
Anyways, where are we at? AlterBlood, that's right. Let's do this.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to that here in a bit. But jumping right into this, last Friday, Life of Agony released their new album.
They sure did.
Long time coming. I think when was Broken Valley, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2006, I think.
Okay, so 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is technically only their fifth album, right?
Yeah.
And we're both longtime big fans of this, and you even more so than me. You know, you rank them up there on your all-time favorites, and I absolutely love them as well.
Yeah, I mean, Life of Agony is one of those bands that they always sound like Life of Agony, even though every fucking album they do has a different twist or turn or theme or sound or style. But at the same time, it still sounds like Life of Agony. They're empowering. They're catchy. And that's what has always, endeared them to me. And I'm super stoked that this album is out, and it's lived up to every expectation I had. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's a much more realized and focused effort than Broken Valley was. And loved that album, but I'm just, as a fan, I'm kind of comparing and reviewing. And, it sounds great. I mean, his vocals are out of this world. There's riffs, it broods, it rocks. I mean, it's got everything. And, they're just doing more of what attracted me to this band 20 some odd years ago, really.
Yeah.
More than 20 years ago, probably about almost 25 years ago.
Right. Well, it's A Place Where There's No More Pain is the name of the album. And I thought the same thing you did. I like Broken Valley, but it didn't stick with me the way the first three albums did, especially the first two. And Soul Searching Sun later on, when it came out at first, I was like, what? But I got over that really quick once I really listened to it. Yeah. Fell in love with it. But this one was instantaneously. The first listen, I was like, wow. And then, this past weekend, I've listened to this thing 6 or 7 times through. And it's easy because it's not a lengthy record. It's like 40-some minutes, I think. And like you said, it's the things that drew me to those first two albums are really represented here.
Yes.
But besides that, there's also stuff that's reminiscent of where the direction they started going to Soul Searching Sun with like the more catchy kind of stuff like Weeds and whatever. And, they really had that with the first two singles they released for this.
Yeah.
What was the first song? Sorry. The title track, Place Where There's No More Pain, and then World Gone Mad. Both of those kind of led you to believe that's the way this is going, but then half the album has that, what's the word you use, brooding?
Brooding, yeah.
And those are the songs that, sorry to catch you, those are the songs that they're stuck with me the most.
Yeah.
Because they're so reminiscent of the stuff I love from Ugly.
Yeah. Exactly. I think, and I really like what you're saying here about how it's like the first two albums mixed with where they're trying to kind of go with Soul Searching Sun all rolled into one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect description because they're not going back to a sound, but they're keeping true to, what they did and what they do. And it's kind of like they're just, a nod to all that, and it's coming out in a new energy. So it's a beautiful thing.
Well, you mentioned, how each album sounds different, but you still know who it is. And that's real evident with Joey Z's guitar tone. It always is different, but it's like, how how do you still recognize that it's him as a guitarist yourself? You know, because he's like, this sounds a little different than some of the other stuff, most of the stuff on this album, but it still sounds like Life of Agony even when you don't hear the vocals.
Well, and I'll tell you, for me, it's because no matter what album it is, the mix of Joey Z and Alan Robert and the rhythm of the riffs and the writing, it's, I don't even know what to call it. It's just got this rhythmic, there's just this rhythmic tug going on. Almost want to say like a jerk, you know? Like, and it's just, it's in every album. And, you know, I could really point it out if we had like a listening party. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's just something about the way they play together that is, I mean, it's signature Life of Agony. And it's, you know, it's something that I glommed onto really early.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I can tell.
Yeah, well, this is one of those albums. Our hashtag all killer no filler is perfect for this, because every single song, it's like I can tell you off the bat that Bag of Bones is my favorite song on this album, but I can't tell you what my second favorite song is because it's the other 9 or 10 songs on this album.
That's right.
Like every single one of them.
Dead Speak Kindly, I think, is my favorite right now. Okay. I love A New Low and Bag of Bones. I don't know, A New Low is pretty badass.
Yeah, that might be my second if I had to pick.
I mean, it's just, these guys are just bringing it. They really are. And, you know, we've been able to turn a couple friends onto it that didn't really,
like missed them the first time around.
Missed them the first time around. And they're really liking this album. So it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I got the vinyl, and it's awesome on vinyl. Super warm. It's great. It's just a great record.
That's something I'd forgotten. I'm glad you brought up because I wanted to ask you. Did you notice when you listened to it on vinyl at the end of it, after, you know, Little Spots of You?
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's pretty quiet, but it has that sound of the record.
Yeah.
You know, like when a record ends.
I noticed, yeah.
Like, how does that sound on vinyl?
Well, I thought,
did you think it was your record player?
I thought, is this the record player? And then I looked, you can see each section of the songs and it's still going. So I knew it was part of the song. I mean, that's a pretty, you know, that's a great way to close out the record. You know? It's pretty dark.
Right.
And just kind of finalizes stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that song because one thing about Life of Agony that's always stood out as much as anything is Mina Caputo's lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, they've always been extremely emotional and deep, you know, starting with the first album, Clear to Now. And everything's out there, emotion and everything. And this song, Little Spots of You, it's one of those songs like, you know, they're early in a song where it stops. Mm-hmm. And it intentionally doesn't come back like way longer than most people do when they do that break.
Yeah.
It's like 5 or 6 seconds. You're like, what the fuck happened? And then it starts again and it's just like almost awkward to the point of you feel like, should I be listening to this? Like you feel like it's so emotional that I shouldn't be listening to this. This should be like her personal thing.
Yeah.
That we don't know about, but that's great music, right?
Yeah. That's what makes, that's what makes great art is you just putting it all out there.
Yeah. But man, the whole Walking Catastrophe and Song for the Abused, you know, those, man, hell, every damn song, but from Dead Speak Kindly clear to the end is just like masterful.
Yeah.
You know, and the first, that's no knock on the first 3 songs. I love them as well. And I told you, you know, I've got one of my favorite bands of all time is Courage and Conformity. They're supposed to have an album out this year. Rammstein, I love them. They're supposed to have one. Night Flight, we love them.
Yes.
Theirs is coming soon. I can't imagine anything other than maybe one of those surpassing this as the album of the year. That's how much I love this.
Calling it now, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
that could change. There's still 7 or 8 months left in this year, but, and a lot of music to come. Someone may surprise me, but I can't imagine. This is definitely going to be in the top 3 or 5.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. It's that good.
Oh, yeah, definitely be on mine for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing I hope is, you know, ever since they got back together, they played a decent amount of shows, but they keep them in Europe and elsewhere, and they'll do like New York and Northeast They might do California or something on occasion. But they just stick to the areas where they had a stronger fan base, which is probably smart.
Yeah.
You know, that same concept that Dave from Monster Magnet was talking about. You know, why play the middle of America whenever, even though we love those 100 fans, you're only getting 100 fans to show up, you know?
Yeah.
So, true. But I just hope now with this new album out, you know, maybe they'll get a support spot from someone. If not, I hope they hit up, you know, a Dallas or a Kansas City so we get the chance to finally see him again, because it's been forever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will drive.
Yeah.
For sure.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, a place where there's no more pain. Get out there, pick this up. If you've never heard Life of Agony for some reason, you listen to this, listen to it all.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
all good. 5 albums, and we've been doing this show we have on YouTube, every album in a row, where we listen to a band's entire catalog from start to finish. And we mentioned, well, they got this new album, so we should throw them in the mix here in the next couple weeks, probably.
Yeah, I definitely want to do it. I can't wait.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. That said, our YouTube channel is at The Thunder Underground. Hit subscribe. We've got all sorts of those things. We've got a complete change from Life Agony, but we've got Motley Crue coming soon.
Yes.
That's already been recorded in the bag, so to speak. Well, let's play some music.
Let's do it.
We got a band out of Oklahoma called God in the Machine, industrial. They're one of the few industrial bands in Oklahoma. We know that much for sure. So check this song out. It's called New Flesh. New Flesh from God in a Machine, industrial music out of Oklahoma. It's very cool to say that. Don't get to say that often when you attach Oklahoma to it, you know.
Yeah.
And we just we talked about that. We just recorded an interview with Less Than Human, and Colton was talking about that. You know, it's all kind of centered around the bigger cities like Dallas or Chicago or LA.
Yeah.
there's not really a lot of big scenes of industrial, but a lot of people love it. And I've always been a fan, and I've always loved the harder edge stuff like this, where, you know, like your Ministry or your early Rob Zombie. Obviously, Rammstein, you know, kind of falls in that category, but they're more metal than just industrial. But these guys are doing that same thing where they've got the industrial elements and the metal elements together. They're kind of somewhere in that Ministry range, I think. I really dig it.
Nice.
Yeah, and glad that you got to see them live recently and hope to do it again.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for God and a Machine. Look them up on Facebook and give them a follow and a like. We might have 4 the singer here on this podcast sometime coming up soon.
That's right. Get into it.
Definitely. Well, something else you need to get into? AlterBlood.
Definitely.
This band's a newer band out of Tulsa. We've talked about them a few times. We've seen them live. Up-and-coming band. They've got some good support slots. They've been opening for bands. They got another show coming up, opening for OTEP.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's a good representation of this area, because besides just AlterBlood, you've got Machine in the Mountain and Severmind.
Yeah.
So that's going to show some good love to Tulsa when people show up to see OTEP. If they don't know these 3 bands, I think they're going to, you know, really realize what kind of stuff we got going on here in this town.
Exactly.
But AlterBlood, I mean, what can you say? It's 3 guys. They're extremely driven.
They're very driven.
They know what they want, and they're on the way to get it. I think, you know, they say, you know, they sound good live.
Yeah, come hell or high water, they're going to get what they want, and you know, that determination is something you need when you're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they're looking for a bass player, so hit them up.
Yeah, if you play bass
and you don't suck,
right? Yeah, they don't want a sucky bass player, guys.
No,
we apologize ahead of time. If you're sucky, just keep learning. Something else will come your way eventually. Well, is it time to just get into this bad boy?
Yeah, let's see what it's about.
All right, we got Ryan, Josh, and Cory from AlterBlood. First show was Holata Fest. So I was just kind of curious how that was, playing a first show in front of like, pretty much all your peers in Tulsa, basically. All these other bands were out there. Was it pretty nerve-wracking at all?
Yeah, we literally took or had about a month to practice, put together 4 songs in a set, and it was pretty hectic. We lost a lot of sleep over it.
Yeah, you could say that.
It was crazy.
Yeah, we
pulled it off.
We did.
Still went out there and
gave it our best.
That's right. Well, that's a hell of a first gig to get too.
Yeah. We originally got the gig from Steve Murdoch, and he's been 100% supportive of us, and he's been giving us the tools and resources, and it just kind of blew up after that. I reached out to Steve after John Holata's passing and said, hey, you know, we finally got a band, you know, I want to play for my friend, you know, and after that, I mean, we just kind of blew up on the music scene.
Yeah,
you know,
we literally got hit up like bone.
Yeah, I know. We kind of went from a trailer band to doing this. And, it just kind of escalated after that.
Yeah. Well, you know, Steve Murdoch is he's definitely got to have on your side. That's for sure.
Absolutely, good guy.
So, did you know him? I mean, previously, before you guys put the band together, you're saying?
Yeah, I did personally. I've been involved in the local Tulsa music scene for good 8-9 years, and yeah, he put on tons of productions that John did, and a bunch of other local bands. I mean, I took pictures of a lot of those bands, and yeah, I know Steve's always been a good guy to put on those kind of shows.
Well, how did you guys come together? Did any of you 3 work together previous to AlterBlood?
No.
Or was it your first band together?
All of this was our first band.
Oh, your first band at all?
Yeah. This is
that's awesome.
Our first band. Josh, you and Cory,
have been,
you go back.
Yeah, we've known each other since third grade. We've been hanging out with each other for about 15 years, and through that time, we eventually got him a drum set and me on guitar, and we've always jammed out and shit.
Yeah.
And,
all the time.
eventually, we got him a new drum set, and then met Ryan, and then put it all together, and it's pretty magic, you know.
Yeah. I haven't played in years prior to that either, so
Really?
I just came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came into the picture, and I mean, I was excited. I heard a lot of good things about you, and I mean, you got on the kit that we got you. And
Sadly, I was gone for a while, but
Yeah, I bought our band drum set we have right now. It was $60 on Let Go.
Oh, really?
We put it together from there, but yeah, I had it ready for him and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a mutual friend of ours that brought me into the picture out into Wagner, and I met Josh initially, and found out that he played guitar and I played guitar, and he had a little setup in Cory's trailer, and I remember going out there every night. And one of the first nights we went out there, I finally found a guy to jam with because no one was really serious about it, and we went out there and hooked into our amps, and we could play as loud as we want, as long as we want, and it sounded cool. And I remember Josh getting our drum kit off of Let Go, ended up fixing it up, and then we put that in the mix. And man, there was 5 minutes where I was like, man, I was playing in front of 80,000 people, just imaginary in my head. and it took off, and we really busted our butt to try to make something out of it. And Cory came along, and we said, hey, well, why don't we do something with this? Why don't we do something with our talents? And
we already had the name AlterBlood since we were 15, 16 years old.
Right.
And now we're 31, so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That seems like that's awesome that you've had it that long and no one, because it kind of goes together, and seems like that would have been thought of already. And I'm glad you guys held on to that. Lasted that long.
Was it something you just thought sounded cool? Was there a meaning behind it back then, or?
Well, I was thinking Old Testament sacrifices from altar, and and just brought some brutal shit into it.
Yeah, it sounded cool. For sure.
Okay, so bass player. Are you guys looking for one?
Yes.
What? And how's that search been going?
We have who in mind?
We have a few people in mind. I'm not going to mention any names specifically, but there's a few bands that have hit us up previously about about possible recommendations they would make for bass players, and we have a few people in mind right now. We've had our pros, we've had our cons with some bass players, but there are a couple of good guys out there that I think would really get the job done. Yeah. And it's just a matter of setting up times and getting them out there and see what they've got.
Well, what do you think? What's it going to take to be a bass player for you guys?
Hit the ground running.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. I mean, they've got to be able to literally drop everything on a dime and make sure that this is what they want.
Catch up to speed real quick.
Right.
When you have upcoming shows. So.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely need to have a musical background, especially, whether it's playing guitar or playing bass. I mean, they've got to have the chops for it. They gotta have a passion for music. Exactly, not in it for.
I mean, for us,
any other
not even
means.
plus,
Anything.
All
that
of our
do
shows we gotten paid for, we didn't even know we were getting paid.
And it's a good mindset. But yeah, I mean, over time we'll eventually find a pretty good bass player that's dedicated to doing what we'd like to do.
Good.
We'll talk about the live shows you guys have played so far without the bass player, because I saw you guys at the Gemini Syndrome show and it didn't sound like it was missing. So I mean, is that tough for you as a drummer to stay in line without it, or is that when do you make the guitar sound heavier to
Yeah.
To compensate, or I mean,
Yeah, so
Kind of overcompensate, you know.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing better than that.
A lot of people thought, like, when they first seen this, they're like, "What, y'all didn't have a bassist?" I couldn't tell. I was like,
And that's a really high compliment that we got. You know, our sound, the way it is, there's a lot of low riffs into it, and people are like, "Man, well, where's your fourth member of the band?" This is it. What are you talking about? Like, what?
We're a trio, yo.
So there are a couple of modifications that I make to our guitars, our amplifiers, in order to compensate for lack of bass. The chords that we play in, that's one of them, to give it an extra harmonic. And then there is a setting that I modify on our amplifier in order to give us more bass. It's basically an additional amount of bass with a little bit more of an undertone to it to give it that drawn out, heavier sound.
So I guess that's something you might shift once you got a bass player on stage.
More or less, yeah. I mean, that's what we're going to do. But for right now, I mean, it's working, and you know, until that day comes, I mean, we'll kind of stick with that, and especially the drum beats. I mean, this guy, his feet faster than any professional runner I've ever seen. I mean, he gets the job done, and
so that's where that comes from. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually from our band trip we had in Six Flags.
oh yeah,
"Oh my, yeah."
Let's hear. If it's something
No,
you
oh,
want
yeah,
to-
yeah.
No, we went to Six Flags, like what, last month?
yeah,
Yeah.
last month.
Yeah, in Arlington, and we were walking by one of them Carney games, and they said that everybody won who played the game, so we all played, and they had the Superman, or I mean, all the Marvel, DC.
Yeah, Marvel, DC, comics. Yeah, they had all the
They had
the
all
characters on it.
them capes or whatever, and then so we played the game, and all won a cape, or the winner got to choose between a hat, cape, and we all took capes. So the rest of the day we went around.
I could have
Six Flags.
taken a hat.
You did win.
Right.
Yeah, the first place winner got to choose either a hat or a cape. So he chose a cape, and we're like, "Oh, might as well get one."
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and you know, it's nice to do things, you know, as friends instead of a band, you know, and that's one other thing that we got compliments on, is that, you know, we're not doing this to create a better image. This is just what we like to do, and you know, people saw that on our band page. You know, 3 good friends, best friends, and a good band, just hanging out doing something other than business, you know, and
Team building.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, a bunch of team building, and you know, just being ordinary and having fun with yourselves. I mean, you know, just having fun with everyone, and you know, doing things as a band is one thing, but you know, having extracurricular activities and you know, doing things as best friends, that's a whole other game.
Counts, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess part of the bass player choosing will be someone that
You can hang with.
Yeah, you can fit in and hang with, like in the family, basically, right? Not just someone that can pull this off and sounds good.
Well, if they're good enough, they can be just business, I guess.
Yeah, we can see you at the show and
for a short period of time.
See a show in practice.
Yeah, it's we want to have another guy to, you know, hang around with, and we want to develop a good friendship. And you know, I told you before. I mean, that's what we really want to do. You know, just invite someone into our lives that's going to be, you know, a good bro to hang around with, and obviously enjoys making music.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
enjoys what we do, and you know, going to grow out of it.
We'll talk about saw some pictures of you recording some vocals. What kind of recording are you guys doing?
We're putting out an EP here real soon.
Cool.
Just 4 songs for now.
I did all my drumming on Sunday.
Yeah, he's got all of his drum tracking done, and then he's got one more song to do rhythm over
Nice.
on guitar, and then I got 3 songs to record vocals. We got one that's being worked on right now, and it's sounding really good.
And better than live tracks recorded, right?
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So,
It's
It's gonna be, it's gonna blow people's minds. I can already tell.
Or what was that? What was that saying that we created a couple days ago while we were in the studio? Like when we get our CD out, we'll give complimentary toilet paper out to people.
They shit themselves, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Can't always be too prepared, you know.
Right.
you know, when it comes to writing, are you doing most of the risk? Is your guitar, or do you guys all play instruments and stuff? Or
Well,
different instruments, I mean.
Well, me and him will just play around, and then we'll figure out a song.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have something come in my head or something, and I'll be like, do this, and then do that, like, kind of direct it sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially during practice, like, tell them course coming up, solo, all that kind of stuff, and then I actually do it during the shows, just nobody knows.
There's like little lip movements and little signs, like.
Yeah. Hey, whatever it takes. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. It's what Josh said. It's a compilation of all three. I've been playing drums for about a year and a half, 2 years. Definitely nowhere near good as this guy over here. But if we have an idea, we'll either on guitar or vocals or drums, we'll mix and match, and then stick to what we're good at and take each other's ideas and improve off of that. Mm-hmm. And that's how a lot of these songs get written pretty quick. I mean, we'll either write something down,
he'll
like
actually come up with the whole song, and then I'll go through it and add stuff or take stuff away, and then
he writes, and then we
and then Josh rewrites.
I mean, since I'm on vocals, so. I make it, how I can do it, kind of thing. Like word it how I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to be able to sing around it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, who are you guys recording with?
We are recording with Dusty Robinson. He's actually a good friend of ours, and he does a lot of different work for Billy and Renee's. He's still a musician, so he's one of our sound guys. He does awesome work. Yeah. Terrific guy. Really supportive of us. We haven't had a bad
show at Billy and Renee's, like, because of the sound.
Well, we haven't had a bad show, period.
Well, no, we haven't. Like, as far as sound quality, like, of course, the Vanguard we had.
Well, we haven't had a bad show, period.
We got.
Nobody noticed.
Why not?
We had a good show, man.
No.
But he's an awesome guy. He digs what we do. He's very, very supportive in local music since he's been a musician himself, and he wants us to go far. He really does, and he's really working with us. As far as what we want, as far as sound, there's a very good possibility that he will be credited for a bass backing track in our first EP. And, that's something we haven't told a lot of people, but we definitely look forward to that.
Mm.
So
is he's doing some of the bass, you're saying, or are you doing any of it?
He's doing
he's going to do this for this, at least for our first few songs, right?
Yeah, next time, our next EP, which will be a whole album, we'll have our own basis.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then albums after that, I mean, it will, we'll eventually have our own basis. So, that's Dusty for you. He's definitely been there since day one, and ever since he heard us, I mean, he wanted to make something happen with us. He definitely loves local music, and he supports everyone that does. Mm-hmm. Definitely a good guy.
Now, when do you think this will be out?
What do you think, Josh? Shooting for maybe
I recently
the end of the month.
Vocals in the recording, so I'm trying to heal over that, and so we're shooting for no later than the beginning of May.
Cool.
Okay, so
if everything goes right.
Yeah.
If everything goes right, hopefully by the end of April, the beginning of May. That way we can start our summer shows,
mm-hmm.
Because that'll be a critical margin for when we end up getting to a lot of people, just because school's out and everyone will have a chance to attend more shows. So we're really shooting for that. That way we can start with the summer right. But we will we'll get that released out onto physical copies. We'll have those at shows, and then we'll have digital distribution here within about a month and a half to 2 months. So I mean, everyone can go and download it on Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, different social media sites.
Okay. So you think we'll have the CDs out first?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We'll talk about vocal wise. Do you Like whenever you write lyrics, do you plan in your head like this is going to be a growl or this is going to be a scream, or does that come once you start doing it?
I'll do like a rough draft while singing it kind of thing, like just see how it feels, and then go from there. Like, but yeah, most time I already know like just how it feels with the music and everything. Just I don't know, it's kind of spontaneous sometimes.
Cool.
I remember when first time I ever heard this guy growl. Like he's so quiet, but I'm telling you, when this guy,
me out of my little
comfort zone,
when he gets out of his comfort zone, like
I am not used to being in front of people. Period.
you are now.
Oh yeah, well,
Get used to it, bud.
the irony of life.
So yeah, this is definitely a big step for me.
Yeah, I mean,
and all that, so.
I first heard him do screamo vocals and growls, and I'm like, whoa, dang, Mr. Randy Blythe wannabe, like a mix between Lamb of God and Pantera. I'm like, this is killer. I mean, can he sustain him? And I mean, it just blew up into something bigger, and.
Definitely got my own sound, I guess.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah, it's one of a kind.
That's why if we ever
enjoy it.
Like, cause I originally played rhythm, so I plan on eventually, I guess, learning how to sing and play, or getting a new lead singer eventually. And I'm thinking it possibly is going to be hard though, because the whole time I'm going to want them to match me. And
yeah.
It's gonna.
Like,
but I mean,
he's got to have that Josh Kinney sound.
I figure on that, like, if they're at least, if not match me, go deeper. Some deeper vocals, and then we'd probably be happy.
Yeah. Was that tough on your vocal cords? Do you do warm ups or anything like that?
Yeah, normally like I'll warm up during the show or before the show and.
Chocolate shakes and a bottle of honey.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
I've tried.
He's past the honey.
I've passed the honey.
I've heard all kinds of things. You hear we talked to the singer of He's
But
Legend a
during the
while back,
shows,
and he said
yeah.
he just drinks whiskey before the show. And
that kind of go against our principle of no drinking before shows.
I've had somebody tell me that before. Like, just have a shot of whiskey before the show to help your vocals. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see how that would help, but
during the shows, I'll like have a crap load of water and freaking drink it.
Yeah.
So, like normally that helps. Like as long as in between verses, I can go get a drink real quick or something. And I'm good.
Well, going back to the recording, I wanted to ask you. I've always wondered, because you always hear people laying down the drum tracks first. Is that tough when you don't have the guitars to go off of? Or like,
Well, yeah, but we kind of were able to use him and still record me, so I can follow him.
Okay, so he plays in the studio while you're doing the drums, basically.
Or he played just like I guess you'd say like just.
He was playing, and I would hear it,
and
I'd hear. But he wasn't recording the guitar; he was recording
Gotcha.
the drums. I was just listening to him,
Okay.
just so I can know where I'm at.
So
It's
he was able to do that, so it was kind of like playing normal,
It's kind of
but
like a live
recording.
show. Yeah.
Right. It's a very I guess it's a very unique tactic to getting our sound the way it is, because I mean, me and Cory, we can synchronize and collaborate pretty well when it comes to creating new tunes. But if one of us is playing, we're good, but we're good together. It sounds better. We can create more elaborate and different beats if we end up playing together rather than solo. And that's with one person playing one of our songs, it helps the other individual out as far as keeping time and remembering. It's more or less a psychology thing of it. So it helps everyone.
Got through it.
Yeah, we did.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, got 4 drum tracks.
Not bad.
My job is done. Now I just gotta wait.
Right? How you can harass us to get done.
We'll talk about this Battle of the Bands. You guys...
Battle of the Bands was something that we decided to do last minute. We knew what we wanted. We knew where we were going. And
we didn't want to do a Battle of the Bands in the first place.
Initially, no, we never did. Mm-hmm. And we knew that this was just going to be a shot in the dark if we ended up doing this. Battle of the Bands, we we treated it like any other show. We stayed up, endless nights practicing, making sure we had our set down.
2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, easy. And I told Billy from Billy and Renee's where we had Battle of the Bands that I'm like, hey, look, we believe that we're ready. If we want to go somewhere, we need to get public with our stuff. And that was, besides Holata Fest, that was another good way to do it, to kind of compete against other bands of different genres. And he said, okay, well, that's cool. Let's go ahead and do it. And so we got our stuff a little bit more structured, a little bit more worked out. And it was a competition amongst 12 different bands, all different kinds of genres. You got country, you got metal, you got alternative, you got rock. Everything. And we ended up winning the third round of Battle of the Bands. It was a money-based competition at that point. Money votes. So
dollar equaled one vote, and so on and so forth.
Oh, gotcha.
It was pretty close, but I mean we didn't really expect it. Billy told us that we had to come back in 2 weeks, and we did. And at the end of the night,
that night we played our hearts out. Though.
We played our hearts out. Sure. We got into it on stage, and
plus we played all the way to like 3 in the morning the day before. So.
Oh yeah, with an all day practice.
Can't forget that. Yeah.
Because we wanted to be so ready for the show.
Yeah,
and because we were going to take a break for a minute, get our basis, and we wanted to. I was like, well, this would be perfect. We win this thing. We'd be able to go right into the studio while we're taking our break, and then once hit the scene in about 2 months with a bassist and everything, have an EP, everything, and work out perfectly. And then it just happened, man. And it just happened.
Yeah,
we were so stoked.
At the end of the night, came down to 4 bands, and we ended up winning. I mean, I had the expectation of anything could happen when we went into that show, and as soon as I heard our name called, I'm like, this is as real as it gets. Yeah. We won by a fluke because, I mean, people heard our stuff and they know that we're good. I know that we're good. But I just didn't, I never thought that, something like this, it was more or less a surreal feeling than anything else. So, yeah, we ended up winning that. It was a good pot of money, and then $500 in recording studio time. And that's how we eventually were going to go into the studio, but we were going to kind of build everything up as we went. But I mean, we put our foot on the gas, and this thing has gone from 0 to 90 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds. I mean, it just.
Crowd really loved it when I went into the crowd and mosh.
Oh yeah. Oh no! I saw you going into the crowd, and then as soon as that mosh pit started, I'm like, oh man, it's real.
Yeah, our stage presence was amazing.
Going in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
This is based on performance, all that.
Most original, whatever, or originality. I mean, sorry. And then,
it was originality,
crowd participation,
and preparedness, readiness for the show. How prepared were we, as far as gear setup and timing?
Well, it was 10 different.
There were several. Yeah, there were several different categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just it kicked off after that, and from then on, I mean, people they love what we do, and we love what we do, and we love people that love us for what we do, and so on and so forth. So it's been fun. I mean, it's awesome. Getting to do what you love to do with guys that are just more than bandmates; they're your best friends.
Yeah, definitely.
And after Battle of the Bands, I mean, it just one show. Mm-hmm.
Well, so after you said coming up this summer, after the EP's out and everything, you're gonna hit it hard with shows. Are you gonna look at going outside of Tulsa and all that?
Oh yeah, we're definitely
looking dates, but we already have 2 more shows within a couple months.
Yeah, we do have a couple more shows coming up. A couple of them, or at least 1 or 2 of them, they haven't really been confirmed as far as dates, but they will happen. Just a matter of contacting everyone, booking the right places, the right people. So, but yeah, we definitely have a couple more shows coming up. One of them is, well, again, that really hasn't been set in stone and confirmed. But, I mean, they're ready. It's just we haven't got the official confirmation. So I don't want to say anything yet. But again, we we do have Facebook, we do have Reverb. You know, we'll share the crap out of those events. So, but yeah, we. What do you think, Josh? I mean, shows this summer, and then CD release party by the end of the year.
Yeah, and we are. And I think we're all coming to agreement. We want to do some shows outside of Tulsa.
Of course,
definitely.
So I don't want to be just local. I want to. My dreams are high. I want to tour all over. So
you have big pipe dreams. You're not looking through a toilet paper roll.
Possibility of doing a show, and we're in Texas. Where was it in Texas?
Trees.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I would love to do a show at Trees. That's one of my favorite venues. Yeah. So, anything's possible. I mean, the major goal for us is obviously within a year get out on a tour. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's plain and simple like that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or in between. I mean, that's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, anyone has a day job right now, and they kind of have to keep their day job. But if you're a musician, I mean, who wouldn't like to do this? So, but yeah, I mean, after we get a couple more things lined up, I mean, we'll have summer shows. We'll go into the holidays. Maybe quieten it down a little bit, and then just kickstart things up again in the spring. I mean, it's a repetitive cycle.
Yeah, cool. Well, talk about like influences. What made you guys? Which guys are your guys? Made you pick up your instruments and this and that and whatever.
I mean,
Joey Jordison from Slipknot.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's a good guy. Probably Kirk Hammet. I've idolized him for years.
Neil Hurt.
Yeah. You get a drum kit like that, dude.
I love the drummer from Tool. He's like the drummer from Tool is phenomenal. He's just
more or less, it's kind of a weird idol, but I mean, just idolizing the what people call or state the rock star lifestyle. Mm. They see on TV, oh man, this guy is getting millions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. He has like 10 girls at his side.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Pretty much, man. And, besides from one individual guy, I've always wanted to play for people. I've always wanted to, have people appreciate, my music or our music. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, our first, I remember telling Steve, dude, if anyone tells you that you haven't fulfilled someone's bucket list dream of playing on stage for, I don't care how many people, but playing on stage in general, if anyone tells you that you haven't done that, they're full of bullshit. He was very, very modest about it. And I'm like, I appreciate it. So, but I mean, just idolizing fan appreciation for good music. But again, I mean, who wouldn't want to be Kirk Hammet?
No, I would. That's my favorite band in the world.
Yeah, man.
I could do a whole other hour on Metallica. Don't get me started.
So what about you?
Vocal-wise? It'd be like Randy from Lamb of God, and then Jamie Johnson from Hatebreed, and probably what's the lead singer's name of
Corey Taylor?
No, not Slipknot. Shadows Fall.
Brian Fair.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, we got to meet him.
Really?
Yeah,
Mayhem Fest 2010?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah, we got to meet him at the Rockstar tent. It was pretty cool.
Met them at Hatebreed.
Dreads are like down to his ankles. And it's freaking insane.
They all were like 15 feet from him when he was doing the windmill. It was like,
that's one band I wish would get back together.
Yeah, I know. Love that band.
Shadows Fall was good. I mean,
Fire from the Sky was their last album.
Redemption is my favorite song.
Of Threads of Life.
Mm-hmm. Divide and Conquer.
Number one. That's the number one song off that album too.
What was it? I don't even remember. Go ahead.
That he did after Shadows Fall. That thrash band.
He did he did a few bands. Overcast was his band that he had with the guy from Killswitch Engage.
Probably have to talk to this guy right
the
here.
Bassist.
I can't remember.
It was really good. I listened to it, but it's been a while now.
Oh, like Death Ray Vision or some shit? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Check that out if you hadn't heard it.
Death Ray Vision.
Yeah.
Check it out.
What was the one album that was like out in 2003 they did? I love it. I have got it memorized. I can't even remember the title of it. War, oh no, that was Fight. I can't remember.
War from Within. You're talking about
War Within?
War Within?
It was before that one.
I can't remember. But they need to get back together, but old dudes in Anthrax.
What drives the week.
Yeah, John doesn't want to lose the paycheck and Anthrax.
Yeah. So.
Oh, no, of course not, man. No. Oh, no, that was actually another band that I idolized for a little bit. You know, the bands, you know, with like the long beards and the BC Riches, you know, like just the badass guitars, you know. I mean, just that sound, you know. Like I said, I have a ton of musicians. I could sit here for half an hour and name off all of them, but you know, it's that sound, you know. I remember the first time I plugged in an electric guitar and I didn't know what kind of sound those were capable of making. And here I'm just, you know, like 12, 13 years old, turn on the overdrive. Whoa! Let me do that again. Just a little bit more organization to it.
It's addicting.
It is, and it's an awesome feeling to know you can do that, and it sounds good. So
Van Halen style, yeah.
I don't know about all that. You know, I'm not no Eddie. No. It's just fun. That's all it is. You know that.
But what are you guys? Is there anything you're listening to now, like newer stuff, or what's on your playlist the last few weeks?
I go on Google Play, I think it is, or Play Google 1 and 2. And,
Google Play.
Well, anyway, I just say play. I get on my Bluetooth. I'm like, play Lamb of God, and then it makes the whole
Station.
bunch of bands.
Oh,
of the
kind of
original.
stuff. Yeah.
So, I just kind of make my own station while I'm at work. So, it's pretty cool. Like between Killswitch and freaking Mudvayne and Chimera and As They Dying. I think there's another one's on there.
That's a name.
I've actually been listening to Shadow's Fall recently too. Yeah,
We've seen them at Canes, As They Dying.
Yeah,
And
that's the first time I saw him at the Canes.
The week before we seen Asking Alexandria.
Asking Alexandria.
Yeah. And both shows are awesome. We've seen
Day to Remember,
Day to Remember at Brady Theater, and his encore song. He came out and went in big giant bubbles that you can run in.
Oh,
and crowd surf, so everybody was like holding him up. It was so
we get to fucking push the ball. It was in. It's like in a big old life-size gerbil ball. There's a point where he fell down in the bubble and he stopped singing for a little bit. Then he got right back. He didn't get right back up, and Jeremy just started getting right back on the vocals, and it's like he never left off. Fell right down, got right back, and kept singing.
Like 10 years ago, I saw the guy from Flaming Lips do that, but I think the metal show would be a little cooler to see that.
Oh, right. And a little bit more active too.
Yeah.
You know, you had people crowd surfing, the lead singer crowd surfing in a big bubble, and that would just be sick.
Flaming Lips suck anyways. I said it, I don't care.
That's fine.
I don't listen to him either, so.
With me, I have all kinds of music. I just use Apple Music, anything and everything. I've gotten into more local, underground kind of music. I used to listen to a lot of mainstream, like Five Finger Death Punch and Shinedown and Slipknot and Slayer. But locally, listen to like a lot of Screaming Red Mutiny. You know, got into those guys.
Forever in Disgust.
Yeah. And then Enslaved by Fear. Yeah,
Kiss the Rage, of course.
Yeah,
Definitely.
just a lot of local heavy metal. Yeah, it really brings back what true metal and rock and roll is all about.
Yeah.
You know, instead of a band that everyone's heard of, take a band that everyone hasn't really heard of and go, oh man, they're just as good as them. Let's give them a little bit more support. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that last that album from Enslaved by Fear that they put out last year, the year before, that's excellent.
I remember when we saw them at the
Part
Shrine.
one of Holata Fest.
At the Shrine. Yeah, at Holata Fest. And remember their very good last song. This distance.
Played Killswitch Engage
Yeah,
in the Heartache.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah,
In the Heartache, yeah.
That's a
Like I videoed Josh, and he didn't know that's always been his one of his top songs. He would just kind of joke around with on mic, and I videoed him, and
well, whenever we first did Metal in Me, one of our songs, the first part of it is dun 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 dun. And I was joking around. I was like, I hope the crowd doesn't think this is in the party.
This is not a cover. And he flipped out at that song. He's like, "Oh man!" and like really started to get into it.
Headbanging and shit. Yeah.
I'm like, "Dang, dude."
He acted like he was actually seeing Killswitch Engage themselves.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them twice also.
Me and Brian went and seen them at Canes
Brady.
Or Brady.
When they opened up for Volbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was at that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, those dudes
that was
are
a cool show.
Yeah.
cool as hell.
Appreciate you guys coming.
Hey, we appreciate you guys having us. We really do.
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Very much.
We have a lot more stuff in store.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, this is what we plan to do for however long, rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We'll be
Sky's the
shaking our-
limit at this point.
That's right, man. Sky's the limit. And, we don't plan on going anywhere. Just keep a lookout. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram. Reverb Nation. Right now, they're live recordings, but here in the next few weeks, we're going to replace those with studio recordings. So, yeah, get ready for bigger and better things. But definitely appreciate you guys having us on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There you go, all three members of AlterBlood. Very cool. They came over here to what Jason has dubbed the compound,
Yes,
the Thunder
the
Underground compound.
Thanks to them for showing up and giving us a good interview.
Yeah, talked about all kinds of stuff, what they got going, what they got coming up, and of course, some influences and great stuff like that. So, like I said earlier, get on Facebook and follow these guys so you can be aware of their shows they got coming up. Besides the OTEP thing, I know they've got another show at the Shrine that they're putting together, and I think they were talking about doing like a big, outdoor house party kind of event thing too.
Cool, yeah.
So we'll let you know about that stuff as it gets closer, but definitely be on the lookout for these guys. Great band. Well, I mentioned Less Than Human earlier. We finally recorded an interview with these guys.
Yes.
They've been threatening to for months, and we never pulled the trigger.
And it happened.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that soon. We've also got one coming soon with Scott Bartlett, the guitarist for Saving Abel. We also just recently recorded one with Chris Taylor, who runs DMG Productions.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about what he's got going on with that, and of course the Dark Side stage at Rocklahoma that he put together. Talk about all the going-ons with that as well. Of course, we saw a great show that he put together at the Shrine last Friday night with 4 bands. It was Switchback, Caliber Theory, The Devil You Adore, and
Crane Technique.
We're going to talk about that, of course.
Yes.
On that episode with Chris.
We'll talk at length.
We also caught an amazing show at Billy and Renee's with Custom Black, Oklahoma Brace, and Machine in the Mountain. We'll talk about that on this episode where
Can't
we've
wait.
got Custom Black because we recorded an interview with all 3 of them as well.
Can't wait for that one.
So we got all kinds of stuff coming up. We should have Andy from Archon coming soon as well.
Yes.
And we might have a couple surprises here in the next couple weeks to throw your way too.
You never know. We got a couple things we're working on that will make you fudge your huggies. It's going to be cool.
Right.
But in the meantime, check out our previous episodes. We've had Lips from Anvil on, John Conley from Seven Dust, a guy you may have heard of, Gene Simmons from Kiss.
I've heard of him.
See, there you go. Truck Fighters. We've had all kinds of guys on. Just go back and pick something.
Battlecross, The Sword, Machine in the Mountain. I just mentioned them.
Yeah.
That's a great
Machine in the
one.
Mountain.
They invited us into their dojo,
That's right.
and there you go.
It's great.
Yeah. Guys from bands like Drowning Pool and Avatar and Soil, Chris Broderick of Act of Defiance, and of course Megadeth, Sons of Texas. There's a long list. This is episode 121, so you got 120 episodes you can go back and look at.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Now that we mentioned that OTEP show earlier, we've had every band on that bill on except for OTEP.
We have.
Maybe we can get her on and she can get us on Blabbermouth when she starts, ripping on everybody like she likes to do.
I hope so. I mean, I've heard, I heard that episode of Josta where she kind of has a point. She kind of has a reason,
Yeah.
People suck, and sometimes you got to call them out on it. And
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
Hey, it's always good when people are up front.
That's right.
Well, like Jason said, you can hear all that stuff. It's on SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Most episodes are all on YouTube as well, at The Thunder Underground. Facebook is /The Thunder Underground. Instagram is @The Thunder Underground. Twitter is THNDRUNDR Ground. YouTube has extra stuff that's not on the podcast episodes. Like I mentioned earlier, the every album in a row. We've done that for Ozzy, Van Halen, Pantera, Guns N' Roses, Megadeth, Metallica, Motley Crue's coming soon. Kiss will be after that, and Life of Agony soon enough.
That's right.
So there's your layout on that for the next few weeks.
Have you started listening to Kiss yet?
No, but I listen to Life of Agony. I can't listen to Kiss because Life of Agony put out a new album 3 days ago.
True. That's kind of all we've been listening to.
Give me a little slack.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I also want to say one more thing. I want to say, fuck rain. Fuck rain right in the ear. # fuck rain.
Well, something I want to mention in case I forget by the time this episode comes out. I probably won't, but the show we went to with Custom Black, Oklahoma Braves, Machine in the Mountain. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, when we did this, it was the day that Friday night and a Saturday was balls out, rain all day in Tulsa. People
monsoon,
yeah,
it was just insane.
Yeah, I mean,
standing water, whatever.
Driving through the streets of Tulsa, there were several spots where cars were bottomed out, flooded, and you driving through 2 foot of water or whatever. The point of it being is we were talking. I'm like, man, I'm kind of worried, when it's weather like this, people just don't go out to the bar to see great music. So I thought maybe the turnout's not going to be that great, but, power to the people. A decent amount of people showed up.
Yeah, it was a great turnout. It was, it was a good thing to see. It gave you a good feeling. Yeah. People are supporting these bands and getting behind this music. And, something's happening.
TheThunderUnderground@gmail.com. Send us your music if you've got a band. Buy us a t-shirt. No, buy a t-shirt from us. You can buy us t-shirts. I don't care.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But buy a t-shirt and a koozie from us. We'll ship it to you, or we'll meet you at a show.
Definitely.
We done?
We're out.
Till next time.
Prepare to get slapped in the face, because that's what it's going to do.
Right.
Bam!
Send me the MP3 and a roll of toilet paper, right?
Hope you take the Advil the night before.
Thunder Underground, y'all.